Okay, so welcome to today's employee town hall. This morning is the 9:30 session, and then we also have an opportunity so you can share with your colleagues that there will be a 6:30 session later today. So first, this is our agenda. A welcome. I want to introduce Kids Country to you. We're going to talk about the KC employee, provide you with some financial updates and kind of the next steps of the organization, as well as Q&A. We anticipate this to be no longer than an hour. We've slated about, we want to make sure that there's time in the end for you to answer any questions that you may have and that we hopefully can answer. And so we're really looking forward to having sort of that back and forth with you all. You can type in questions in the chat box so that JP, who's our moderator, is going to collect them and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation. So let me introduce myself. My name is Ann Tonsioko. I am the Executive Director of Kids Country. I have been with Kids Country for the past 8 years. Didn't realize it was 8 years, but I have been the Executive Director for the past 3 years. Yes, throughout the pandemic. Super fun. And just excited to be part of this organization. It's something I feel is so special. I've been in the field for almost 30 years. I started, like many of you, as a teacher assistant, part-time job while I was in college, and I fell in love with the field. And so I'm just, really excited to be part of this organization. One of the things I also love about it is that I am, we're located only here in the district, in San Ramon Valley Unified School District. And I'm a parent, I have 2 boys. I still have a junior in high school. My oldest is now graduated and entering his 2nd year of college. So I've gone through the system from kindergarten up until like now. And so I'm invested in many different ways. And so I'm just happy that you guys are here today. And I'm going to give the opportunity for the rest of the executive leadership team to introduce themselves. Kim, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Kim Lewis, your operations director, and working with children and families has always been my passion. I've been with Kids Country since November of 2021. Prior to that, I worked with children of all ages and abilities for over 30 years. I'm also lucky to be mom to my own 3 children at home. If I haven't met you yet at your site, I may have served you breakfast at our staff appreciation brunch last spring, or most of you probably recognize my name from all of your dreaded COVID exposure letters. That was me. I'm really happy to be here with you, all of you this morning. I'm looking forward to a great school year with all of you.
Terry?
Hi, good morning. My name is Terry Wergler, and I've been with Kids Country now for 3 years as well. I've been a regional controller and controller for over 20 years in my career, and I have 3 kids myself. I have a 21-year-old son and a 19 and 16-year-old daughters. My oldest actually went to Kids Country at Quail Run before he went to Live Oak. I really wanted to work with Kids Country for their involvement with the kids, their involvement in the community, and the fact that it was a nonprofit.
Thank you, Terry. Lisa?
So hello, everyone. I am Lisa LaRocca, and I've been with Kids Country for 13 years. I've been in my current role for 8. My family didn't live in this area when my children were growing up, so we didn't have the good fortune of attending Kids Country. However, I'm hoping that my granddaughter will starting next summer. And I just love working here and having the opportunity to meet each of you as you walk through the doors of Kids Country and hopefully stay with us for a long time.
Thank you, Lisa. And JP?
Good morning, everybody. My name is JP. Some of you guys have been probably seeing me as a sub around the locations or for tech help. I've been working with Kids Country for about 10 years so far, and with creative education in STEM and STEAM and design thinking for about 12 years. And working at Kids Country has been fantastic. So I've been able to develop a lot of STEAM and STEM programming, and working on global education as my personal, debt to the world.
And as you can see, if you're looking at the slide, JP is now our communications manager. She's holding 2 roles for the organization, and you're going to hear more about that as we continue to develop that position. So welcome, this is your team. So let me tell you a little bit about Kids Country. One of the things that people do not know, especially our parents, is that we are a nonprofit organization. We're probably one of the larger employers also in this area. We are born and bred right here in the San Ramon Valley area. Parents, like the ones that you're serving right now, concerned parents, actually established this organization over 38 years ago. They were like, where am I going to put my child so that I can go to work? Where can I find a safe place that is of quality so that I can financially take care of my family? And many of these first parents actually took out second mortgages on their homes to fund the first buildings at John Baldwin, Greenbrook, and our flagship, Walt Disney. They basically put together this, grassroots effort to create this organization. They received the support of community members, obviously the San Ramon Valley Unified School District, and many of the businesses in the area, big and small. And so be proud of the fact that you're with an organization that has basically sustained the test of time, and has a great reputation in this area. And it's because of our mission and our vision. Our mission is really about supporting the natural curiosity and love of learning in safe and inspired environments. And that's where you play a role. You get to have that wonderful opportunity and great responsibility to support these children in this area. This is our mission every day that we walk into our classrooms. And yes, even into this office, we understand that every decision that we make is really about the child that comes to our programs. And our vision, it's about you and it's about our children. We want to be recognized for excellence, but not only just excellence in the word that we can use like day in, day out, accredited excellence, which stands for high standards. We want to be recognized for that accredited excellence in our after school delivery, before and after school delivery, and our summer camps and enrichment, because we want this to be a place where children and employees succeed and shine. So this is who we are at Kids Country. We've gone through quite a bit of a shakeup, in our lives, with this pandemic. And one of the things we just recently went through was to really talk about who are we as Kids Country and what are our values. And it really came down to these 4 values that really drive everything that we do as an organization. It's our dedication. We are dedicated to our children. They come first. We are innovative. Our dynamic programming is basically based on what we observe from children, how we interact with them, what we know about children developmentally, and the talents and passions that we have ourselves that we could bring to the table. Many of the programs that we have here at Kids Country came from employees such as you, people who were passionate about anti-bullying, people who were passionate about mindfulness. You're going to hear a lot about this. People who are passionate about gardening, like you see in that picture. It's those talents that you bring to the table that actually make us even more of a powerhouse in how we execute our programming. And then excellence. You really are the foundation of that excellence that we strive for as an organization. We're never satisfied with status quo because we believe in training. We believe in you as our employees. We want to make sure that you have the tools that you need in order to execute what happens daily with the kids. And frankly, you know, when I think about going out, you know, to the sites and seeing what happens, you know, when you're interacting with children, I also see that how much you guys want to have fun with the children. And I think that lends to a lot of why we are excellent at what we do. And like I said before, we're deeply embedded in this community. I'm going to talk about a couple things that are going to be happening in a couple months that there's an opportunity for us to participate and be part of the community that we live in. One of the reasons why this is one of our values is not only for the fact that our parents, the community basically created this organization, it's also because we understand that our children are at the center of these interconnected circles within the community. When they see us out in the community, they recognize, you know, how that we're just, you know, we're their neighbors. We're not only there in after school, but we're also interested in all parts of their lives. So it's really exciting. If you ever go to Safeway and see one of the kids from your sites, they're like, hey, it's Mr. Ryan. They get so excited that they see you outside of just, you know, the four walls and the playground of their school. So it's just something that we're really passionate about. And you can see that the dedication, innovation, and excellence in community are really the values of what drives everything about Kids Country. Lisa?
So several years ago, our leadership teams throughout the organization got together to create a cheat sheet, if you will, to remind us what we believe in at Kids Country and how we expect each other to show up to work every day. We call this our creative behaviors, which is what we are looking at right now on the slide. And hopefully this looks familiar to you. We took the word creative and used each letter of this word to describe a behavior that is the foundation of forming a great workplace where staff are happy, content, and willing to come to work every day. The result that was created included these following keywords: communication, respect for coworkers, equal opportunity, accountability, pride and ownership, teamwork, integrity, vision, and expectations of clients. I hope these words resonate with you and are becoming a part of your daily practice. We want Kids Country to be the best country, where our staff are treating others with value and respect. So you really do make an impact. Currently, we have 148 staff members throughout our 15 sites. We are working daily to increase that number by finding more staff for each of our sites. I know we desperately need help, and I'm working very hard to try and get that for you. You, as part of our staff, are the heart of our organization. You are the heartbeat that makes each of our sites a place where children want to be every day after school. The relationships you make with the children, the parents, and each other are what makes us stand out in the community. The effort you put into each activity you create shows the dedication you have to these children. The time you spend training in different areas of your position helps you become a stronger and more confident person in your role. We love for you to grow with us as we continue our climb back to pre-pandemic state. Our greatest compliment is when a child doesn't want to go home when their parent comes to pick them up. I'm pretty sure most of you have experienced that. I've even witnessed it a few times myself at the sites. That's a simple example of how you have such an impact on the children, where they just love being with you and the rest of the children at Kids Country. I couldn't be prouder of all of you, and I am continually amazed by the creativity and passion and love that you show the children in our care every day. You guys will rock.
Thanks, Lisa. Kim?
So here are some awards that show exactly how we all show up and we all make that impact that Lisa was talking about. On your left-hand side, we are Top Workplace 2022 winners. This is something we participated in through the San Francisco Chronicle since 2014. You may remember receiving a third-party survey last February asking about your experience working with Kids Country. And based on your responses, we are again a Top Workplace winner for 2022. Moving over to the right, best of the best. This is something new that we participated in for the first time this year. Every year, Bay Area Parent Magazine asks families to vote for their favorite businesses in all kinds of categories. Their best of the East Bay edition just came out, and we are super excited to announce that we won 7 gold medals in many camps and education categories. Take a look at the list here, including best math, science, and education support. Huge kudos to all of you. These awards are won because of the programming you provide for our children and the relationships you build with our families. It's your skills and talents, it's your passions, it's your hearts that you pour into your work that makes that difference. Please give yourselves a pat on the back for a job well done and 7 gold medals. And then last but not least, right up at the top, Anne mentioned a little bit earlier, our COA accreditation. This is something we're extremely proud of. Kids Country is the first after-school program in the nation to be accredited as an organization under Council on Accreditation, or COA's Child and Youth Development Accreditation. You may be wondering, what is COA? It's an international, independent, nonprofit organization that accredits human and social service providers. COA standards are designed to promote a program's capacity to provide quality experiences that help children thrive. Our accreditation represents our dedication to providing the highest quality care and maintaining best practices in everything that we do as an organization. We are currently in the reaccreditation process, so you'll be hearing a lot about it, and I'm sure we'll be working on this together soon. So many thanks to all of you for a job well done and lots of well-deserved awards.
Thank you, Kim. Now we're going to go into financial updates because you probably want to hear, how are we doing as an organization? I'm very transparent about our financials because this really is, I want you to understand how we as a nonprofit are spending our money and where that money goes towards. But I always start with our enrollment, because our enrollment drives our revenue. The number of children that we bring into our programs, correlates to how much revenue that we bring into the organization. So you can see here what we have experienced over the years. So in summer 2019, this was a very successful summer. We served 554 average per week. So 554 children, if I remember correctly, that was a 10-week summer. And that was right before the pandemic. But you can see where the difference changed in summer of 2020, where we were in pods. We reopened on June 1st of 2020 after the lockdown, and we were serving an average of 176 children. That's a huge dip. And it was a scary time. However, the next year we saw a little bit of a growth at 354. But man, this past summer 2022, we're not that far off from how it used to be in summer 2019. So we've definitely seen a climb in our enrollment with our summer camps. So that is very encouraging for the financial health of the organization. Now let's talk school year. School year has been a little bit slow, but I'm also doing some comparisons to contracts. So school year, pre-pandemic, in March of 2020, we were serving 2,265 children, almost on a daily. And that's how many children that were enrolled in our programs. But you can see the sharp drop in the 2020-2021 year. We served a total of 499 children, like separate individual children. This is not an average. This is how many children were enrolled throughout the year. I think our average in attendance was roughly about 330s, but in total, we served close to 500 children in the school year of 2020. That was during remote time. That was during hybrid changes, to how children were attending school. So this was definitely a challenging time for the organization. This past school year, it got a little bit better. We served about 1,371 children, individual children. Our average is roughly about in the 1,200 mark. So this is what it looked like for us. But today we currently are serving 1,601, and you guys are probably feeling it because there's more children coming in to our buildings. It's been a slow climb, but it's a climb that's actually doing us some good. And it's nice to see that children are back into our programs. We're not back to where we were, but I think this is a good ease into the school year over, between last year and this school year. So Terry, you want to talk about our revenue comparisons?
Yeah, definitely. So this is just a snapshot of our finances over the past few years, and this will help you understand what we've all gone through as well. So we're really looking, our fiscal year goes from July through June 30th, but we're giving you a snapshot of 9 months because of the pandemic. So when you see July 19th through March 2020, these are our normal times, and our revenue was at $9.1 million with the enrollment, as Sam was talking about, of the 2265. So you'll see the wages here, which is all payroll costs, benefits included, of almost $6 million. Now that's 72% of our revenue. So just to put this in perspective, this is our ideal percentage of revenue that we pay for wages, to operate functionally. So the other 28% will allow us room towards training, employee recognition, rent, all of these other operating costs, and also investing in our rooms. So this is that 72%, 75%, that's, an ideal number that we are always targeting towards. So you'll see in July of 2020 through March 2021, our revenue dropped down to 3.2 million with the enrollment of 338 children. And our wages were at 3.4 million with the percentage of revenue being 104%. So that's not sustainable. So what kept us alive during this time is the PPPs. We received 2 PPPs in 2020 and 2020 that kept our doors open. And then you'll see in July 2021 through March 2022, our revenue is climbing back up, but it still is lower than back in our normal years. It's decreased from our normal years of 44%, and our revenue is 5.1 million with the enrollment of 1371, and our wages now are at 4.3 million, and now we're climbing back to more sustainable rate of 85%, but still not our targeted amount. And then if you go to July 2022 through March 2023, this is what we're looking towards. This is what our projections are for the next 9 months. 2 months have almost passed, but anyways, revenue of 7.1 with the enrollment of the 1,600. And then our wages being at 5.6 million. And so that's projected to be at 79%. We still want it lower, but it's looking great. We're climbing in the right direction. We're still 21% lower than back in the normal time of the 2019 to 2020 year. But this will help you guys understand what's gone on financially some. I definitely want to reiterate, we could not have done any of this, nor kept our doors open without all of you and your sacrifices and hard work, and definitely the community support as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. The best way when you look at this, for those of you who, probably have seen this for the first time, the percentages actually can be translated to, for every dollar that comes into the organization, 72 cents goes to the employee. So those percentages is about how much allocation we've made towards the employee, because we recognize that it is the employee that moves this organization forward. It is the employee that ensures the high quality that we're known for. It is the employee that are there for the children, bottom line. And so Kids Country has always worked in a lens that the money that comes in is actually, the majority of it always goes back to our employees. So let's talk about wage and benefit decisions. What has happened since July 2021? During the height of the pandemic, during that remote, and when it was hard at the 104%, we had to make some hard decisions. Many of you who were there during that time, which I call the 100 strong, took pay cuts, all the way up to the top here, down to our TAs. There was across the board pay cuts so that we could survive through the pandemic. However, in July 2021, we were able to restore wages to pre-pandemic level. And then shortly after, a few months, we did give a wage increase across the board, $2 to all employees increase, and $2.50 to our TAs. Part of the reason was, yes, more than anything, you deserve it. And then we were also responding to the increase in minimum wage. So we wanted to meet labor law compliance and also be competitive in our wages in our field. And then just recently, in July of 2022, we did another dollar increase to all hourly non-exempt employees. So many of you have already experienced that dollar wage increase. The $3, $3.50 is roughly about a 20% increase to your wages. It's kind of unheard of in any job that, in less than a year, that you would receive a 20% wage increase. And then in August, this is going to be new news to our site directors, but we have also, effective August 16th, have increased our salaried exempt employees also $1. So, thank you for your patience. And we weren't sure if we were going to be able to do it because we weren't sure if the second after school program that are now located on all the elementary school sites were going to take enrollment from us, but based on trends, I don't think that happened. And so we did it sooner than we were anticipating. And we're actually happy to announce that that wage increase is now in effect. And one of the other exciting news that I wanted to share with all of you is that for those of you who contribute to your 403B contribution. This is your retirement fund. Many of you have heard of 401k, but in the nonprofit world, it's called 403B. Prior to the pandemic, we gave a 2% match to employees. We unfortunately had to take it away during the pandemic just to monitor dollars and make sure that all the money that was coming through was paying for staff salaries. But we're reinstating that 2% match effective September 1st. For those of you who are interested in contributing to a retirement fund, 403B, when you receive the link tomorrow and for this town hall and any Q&As, questions, we are going to also send you the benefits guide. So if you have any questions around 403B, you'll be able to look at that in that benefit guide. The other thing we've done, since we're talking about benefits, is in the past 2 years, we've really minimized any increase to the employee copay for benefits. And despite the increase, the percentage increases that we're taking on as an organization, for benefits, I think in 2021, it went up roughly about somewhere between 11 to 14%. And in 2022, I think roughly about maybe 6%. So we just wanted to make sure we keep those costs low because, again, our lens is how do we take care of the employees? Well, let's keep, let's keep those fees down so that we can keep our employees healthy. We want to make sure that you have the medical, dental, and vision that you deserve and that you need in order to stay healthy. So in 2021, we also introduced the Employee Assistance Program. One of the things that we love about the Employee Assistance Program is you can use, let's be real, this pandemic has probably affected us mentally in many different ways. You have access to unlimited access to phone counseling. So you can call at any time through our employee assistance program and use that benefit. In addition to that, you can also go in person, I think at least 3 times within the year. So take advantage of that employee assistance program. It's there for you. If you ever just need someone to talk to, we go to the doctor to take care of our health, believe in going to our counselors and therapists to take care of our mind health. So it hasn't been an easy time for the world, so to speak. And so take advantage of that. And in 2022, we only did a $5 increase to medical only. And we introduced a flexible spending account and commuter benefits that you can contribute to pre-tax. So we're kind of excited about these benefits. And one of the other things I failed to add to this is that, we used to do as an organization vision every other year. Forget it. Vision happens every year. So if at any time that you need to add vision, as part of your benefits package, then please do so. It's available to you every year during open enrollment. And the last piece, I think many of our our teacher assistants heard about is the tuition assistance program. Before, we used to have a reimbursement program, like you go to school, if you took classes that would help you become a teacher, you would then have to get a C or higher, turn in your grades, turn in your receipts, and then we would reimburse you up to $140 for your tuition and up to $50 for books. Well, this time we're flipping it around. We'll help you at the beginning. So if you need to take some classes so that you can become a teacher with the organization, then we are going to pay for those classes and ahead of time. And so we've kind of flipped the switch. So to give you that financial support as you sign up for classes to help you become teacher qualified. And then the employee referral bonus is back. We are offering $300 to every employee if you bring on an employee that, a new employee that is hired with the organization. You get half of it once that employee starts, and then you get the second half when it's 90 days after the employee has been with the organization. So if you have friends, family members, acquaintances that love to work with children and are interested or just curious about this field, refer them to us and you'll get $300 in your pocket. So let's talk about the school year. These are the things I'm excited about. This is about thriving as an organization. I don't want to survive anymore. I want to thrive. We're looking at leadership development. So a slow launch to what I call Kids Country Leadership Institute. It's already happening at the site director level, and I want to start bringing that to our assistants and head teachers. Part of leadership development is also about mentorship, giving you an opportunity to think about this field and if this is something that you want to do as part of your career. The other thing where you can also kind of be part of that leadership development is participate in committee meetings. I'll talk about it in the next slide, but we have several committees where you as our staff can participate in and contribute to that really shape how we execute curriculum, how we deliver programming. So I'll share that with you in the next slide. Obviously, trainings. We need to get back into trainings. Over the past 2.5 years, it's been really challenging to execute trainings, obviously, because we had some strict regulations around COVID, around this pandemic, and minimizing the gathering. However, you'll be pleased to know that pretty soon, starting in September, you're going to start hearing about training opportunities that you can attend throughout the year. And if there's any professional development, like a webinar or workshop that you're interested in that would help you become a better teacher or learn more about child development, so on and so forth, please let your site director know, or contact us here at the main office and we can make that happen for you. And then community involvement. Again, one of our values is community. You can see Miss Jeanette there at Vista Grande, our site director, doing a run for education. They didn't do the big run, but they did it at Vista Grande, regardless of not holding the big event that happens in San Ramon, close to City Center. So we want to get back into all these pieces slowly, not 0 to 100, but enough that we feel a little bit of that normalcy of who we are as here at Kids Country. And this is how we thrive. And I talked about committees. These are our committees here in the organization. We have an anti-bullying committee where we would, let me back up. Our committees, we'd love to see representation from all the sites because we want to hear the voices and what you're seeing at your sites, and then how we can translate that into curriculum, into training, into a policy. This is what happens at the committees, is really problem solving what's happening at our sites on a larger scale, and developing those solutions so that it can be executed at all 15 sites. So anti-bullying, again, is about, inclusion, respect, and compassion, and how do we bring that to our children? So that's one of our committees. Edible Education Project. It's about healthy eating and gardening curriculum. We would love to see gardens at all our sites. It stems from and is inspired by Alice Waters' Edible Schoolyard up in like the Berkeley area. So if you ever have a moment, look it up. It's actually pretty cool what she's done. It's that farm to table movement. Mindfulness is a great way to support children with self-regulation and building their emotional competency, especially right now in the school year. And our younger kids, you're seeing a lot of them kind of break down and lose it because, they're going through a change. They're going to school. I was at Green Valley last week, and we did have a child crying pretty much throughout the day. And that mindful breathing actually helped him settle down in moments, and kind of work through, obviously, him being upset and wanting to be with his mom. Employee engagement, we're always looking at ways to ensure that staff morale is high. And so the Employee Engagement Committee talks about this and what are ways that we can improve employee satisfaction and retain our employees. KC Athletics, super fun, super cool, and I just love it. In the fall, we do the football intramurals, flag football intramurals, where every site has has a team. We get jerseys, all that wonderful stuff, and we're they're going to start figuring out how it's going to work this year. So these are things just to look forward to. And then in the spring, we do spring sports and games. So it's kind of fun to have that interactive between sites through the KC Athletics. And then obviously health and safety. It's really to problem solve and address risk management topics. We've done things like allergies, how to address allergies in at our sites. We've done behavior management. That was a huge piece. That actually, what came out of that was a behavior management policy that was revamped. And so it's kind of cool to be able to contribute to that. So if you have a lens towards health and safety, we'd love to see you at the table to discuss topics that are important to you and your colleagues at your site. And then the new one that we're introducing that's probably going to start in the spring of 2023 is the social media squad. We do have a Facebook and we do have an Instagram. And right now JP is the one who's managing, but you actually are probably executing programming that we could share with our community. We often hear from parents, what about my site? And so we'd love to see representation from all sites about, to show all the wonderful things that you guys are doing with children. So social media squad is coming in spring of 2023. So look forward to some of that. So those are our committees. We're very proud of them. These committees are roughly about 5-6 years old, maybe now 7. And these or half of them. There were some of them that have been around for maybe about 10 years. These were all started by our employees, people who are passionate about certain topics. And so it's really cool how they've now become sort of pillars of curriculum and policy for the organization. And then we wanted to announce Kids Country is participating. Once again, we've always been a sponsor for Run for Education. It is hosted by the San Ramon Valley Education Fund. It's a big run, usually about, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere about 10,000 runners participate in this because there's I think a 10K, there's a 5K. They also have a friendship run for children with special abilities, and then also a mini run for the younger children on Saturday. And so you can participate in the Run for Education, and these are the ways that you can do it. We'd love to see a show of support, a great representation of Kids Country employees at this run. I'd love to see you there. I'm actually looking forward to it. It's paid day, so if you come and volunteer your time, you will be paid for the time that you're there to volunteer. If you choose to run, we will sponsor your 5K run or walk, because some of our staff have walked it, and you'll receive a free run shirt, and I guess there's prizes and more. So there's more stuff that's coming for the Run for Education. The team just met last week, and so we're excited to announce this, and just look forward to more information and how you can participate. Like I said, we'd love to see you. It's early in the morning on a Sunday, but it's super cool because then the kids get excited when they see their teachers also at the run. And that's what I have for today. So I'm gonna stop this, and then I'm gonna ask JP to tell me what questions you guys have, and what, if there's any questions that we can answer for all of you.
Alrighty, so we have a true 15 minutes for our Q&A before our town hall session ends. We do have questions that were submitted through our Google Forms, so thank you to my friends who did that prior to the town hall. So the first questions are going to go to Miss Kim, our COVID task force.
Oh,
So Miss Kim,
yes.
first question we had that was submitted in our Google Forms is, are temperature checks still required for entry?
I think we decided to continue them for now. That's something recommended, especially by our county public health nurses. They always ask me when I report what measures we're taking to mitigate as much of the virus as we can. So for right now, we are still taking temperatures.
Okay, perfect. And then we have a follow-up question for that too, different person. Are families, parents allowed to come inside the building because they've been asking?
We recently decided also that that was kind of up to site directors to navigate with their staff and their families. They are allowed to come in, and licensing regulations will tell you that we can't prohibit them from coming in anyway, but I think they understood that we were really trying to be extra safe, especially at the beginning of this pandemic, and kind of kept out. So now we have changed signs to where we don't say they're prohibited, but I think the site directors are kind of navigating that and making that choice for their own sites to what works best for right now.
All right, awesome. So we have two more questions, and that'll be the end of your questions, Ms. Kim. So the next one will be actually for me. Someone in the chat asked for the Run for Education, who's the point of contact? As of right now, it would be me. So you'll be seeing an email from me after this town hall with the invitation and all the information you would like to know about the event. So 'tis me. And the last and final question is a big one, and this will be to Anne, actually. Anne, so a staff has asked, and I'm sure this is on everyone's mind, is how do we help with burnout?
Yes. Burnout. I think I've said it many times throughout this town hall, that burnout is real. This pandemic has done a number on many of us personally and yes, professionally. The regulations, the limits, the fear has at times asked us to stretch more than we thought was possible. I know for a fact that the one big thing, at least in the workplace, is that having staff is crucial to helping mitigate that burnout. So, and I realize that. And one of the things that I've also realized is that we've also had a pretty huge turnover because of this pandemic. We fall in that great resignation of losing, 25% of our core staff, that 100 strong I spoke about earlier. That's equates to the same percentage of the great resignation. People who have left their jobs out of fear, trying to find something else, do something different, go back to school. And it's changed the workforce entirely. So some of these things are completely out of our control as an organization. I had a great conversation yesterday with, I have a professional coach, full transparency, and it keeps my mind sane and helps me focus on how I execute what needs to be executed for the organization. And I talked about burnout with her, and we talked about that there's two ways to look at burnout. There's the individual, and then there's the systems. There's a lot of, I was actually reading an article yesterday for the individual. Sleep is actually the best remedy for stress. Getting a full night's sleep, sleeping regularly, with a full night's sleep, and not having broken sleep. It allows for our bodies to rejuvenate and our brains to kind of heal from the day. It's just interesting. I think CNN just posted a study about sleep and how that minimizes stress. The other thing is, there's this term now called like sleep hygiene. What are your rituals, before you go to bed, exercising, proper nutrition, how do you wind down from the day? How do you step away from your devices so that it doesn't keep you awake? So there's those pieces, and it's all about self-care, doing the things that are important to you, spending time with your family and friends, taking those vacations, just doing the things that you love, going on that hike, reading that good book, doing that dance in your living room, taking those moments to kind of break, the stress. So there's been a lot of, like I said, a lot of articles out there, especially after this pandemic, on how you can attack burnout. And that's on the individual level. Let's go to that. Talking to a friend, or a professional is also about caring for yourself and preventing that burnout. The other piece too is the systems piece, and that's the piece where Kids Country steps in. So the things that I always think about is, what are we doing here in this organization to minimize that burnout? What are those systems? If we say, yes, take a vacation, but we put on guilt if we, if you do take one, or, it happens in a lot of big organizations, companies, are we creating that culture? Or if we say, 10-minute breaks, those 10-minute breaks that you have during your work shift, those are important to take because it allows you to step away and break up, all that energy. If I think about what happens in our programs, I really think that the biggest way to alleviate the stress and prevent that burnout is your team. In our field, working in a before and after school site, we team teach. And I'm sure all of you who have been in this field for a while can recall a time where coming to work was fun. The people you worked with had your back. You loved the job. There was laughter in the building. And even when it was hard, you knew that somebody had you. I can recall many moments in my life. And I will tell you on a reel that this pandemic, I don't know how I could stand here today if I did not have the people who I have here in this office and the site director team that I have, because that I knew who I was fighting for. They were my purpose. It's the same thing when you come into work. Do you have a place, where you live out the creative behaviors and your colleagues live out the creative behaviors so that you could support one another when it's good and when it's bad? Because what we're doing almost every day, because we're dealing with a lot of children, is dispersing energy. And, our third teacher, the environment disperses the energy. So is the space a place where we want to come? Is it inviting? Is it warm? Does it welcome us? Does it look fun? Does it look cute? Does it reflect who we are as people? We want to get back to that. The other thing too is, are the people that we work with people that we have fun with, that we trust, that we communicate with, and so knowing that you have that, when I think about vacations and time off, are we working together as a team so that we could support each other to take that time off? That not all 5 people, like half the team is out, taking a vacation, because then that means the other half of the team is carrying the load. So it's those kind of tricks and tips that I think about. It's the team that actually prevents that burnout. And what is it that we can do as an organization to support it? And here are some of the things. I talked about the employee assistance program. We're looking financially right now of where we're at, and you can see that we're climbing. We're looking at how can we equip our staff, because the majority of our staff are new, to help manage the classrooms. Again, it's dispersing the energy, and dispersing energy also requires experience. It requires training, having the tools to be able to mitigate when kids get at each other, or, conflict, resolution skills. How do you redirect a child when they're throwing a tantrum or they're in each other's faces? How do you break up that energy? So it's really about, that piece. And then, the other piece too is for the 100 strong, we gave 2 extra floating holidays, because we're like, this is what we can do at this time, but we're always looking at that. How can we give that space and time so our employees can take a breather? And it's a small way, but in one way, it's a big way, because we've never done it before as an organization outside of what was part of our holiday calendar. This was extra on top. And we're constantly looking at salaries. Salaries, I know, is a piece of the pie when we're having to stress about inflation and so on and so forth. So we're looking at salaries. I've just stated we've increased salaries an average of 20% in less than, in less than a year. And so we're constantly looking at that, because we also recognize that, let's be real, it's hard to live in the Bay Area on the wages that we live on, in childcare. But the only way we could raise that is if we also raise fees. And so we can't price ourselves out to our families as well. So it's a balance that we hold as an organization. But I will tell you, the most cohesive team is also the team that will help you and each other, prevent or at least minimize that burnout. I just say, be there for one another. And if you as an employee have ideas that we can implement as an organization to support, everyone, please, no idea, there's no idea that we're willing to explore and problem solve through.
All right, thank you so much, Anne. And so that's going to end our Q&A. In the chat, if you guys have any questions that came up as our hosts were expressing their answers, I have my email in the chat. So if you guys have any other questions, just funnel them through me, and then I'll kind of filter them out to our hosts. But that ends that, Anne, and I'll kind of let you kind of close out.
So thank you. to all of you for being a part of the Kids Country family. I, sometimes in an organization, it's hard to say, it's kind of stupid to say, oh, you're part of a family, but I actually truly believe in that piece, because if we're there for each other, then the children know that we're there for them. There's a saying that has stuck with me throughout my career. Children don't care what you know. They don't care what title that you have, because the moment they walk in the door, they just want to know that someone cares about them. So they don't care children don't care what you know. They only want to know that you care. So thank you for being with our children. Please, one of the biggest things about this job is have a blast. Have a blast being with them, laugh, learn who they are, build relationships, not only with them, with their families, but with each other. And I look forward to seeing all of you. I'm hoping to be out sites in these next couple of months, and spending some time with you in the afternoon, and you showing me the ropes. I've had the opportunity to be at a couple sites already, and I'm just amazed at the love I see, and whether new or whether seasoned, just the work that happens between our staff in order to make every day a great day for the children that come to our programs. So thank you for being a part of Kids Country. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, talk to your site director. And I look forward to seeing you and meeting all of you, for those of you who I haven't met yet, and have a great school year 2022-2023. Much love, rock on, and all that wonderful stuff. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.